Oh, now we're finally recording. Enjoy that 2 minutes of just ambiance of bird sounds. Welcome back to the Alexandrian Codex. I'm Alex. This is, as you might have imagined, Stardew Valley. Ooh, it's been couple of days? Few days. 2 days? 3 days? I don't know. It's been a minute since I was able to sit down and stream and record. I've been working a fuck ton. Been a busy boy. If I'm being honest, I have completely forgotten what the hell we were doing last time. I have enough money, and I have enough iron, that we can go upgrade the copper pickaxe. So I think I want to do that. It looks to me like we can buy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-ish more corn seeds. Yeah, that might not be a terrible idea. When is this open? It is Friday, so this will be open. It opens at 9 a.m. What am I doing for 2 hours? Let's swing through down south and waste some time that way. Yeah, I'm feeling oddly well rested. Over the course of the last week or so, I've been sleeping like 3 or 4 hours a night and then taking like a 3 or 4 hour nap in the afternoon. Pretty disorienting, to be real with you. It works decently well enough, but it's pretty fucking weird. Oh, I really don't know what exactly is on the agenda today. I wanted to start out with Stardew Valley because I don't have to put that much thought into it and I have a bit of an opportunity to wake up at this point. Pathfinder Kingmakers still continue to be a lot of fun, but really the further you get into the game, the less and less well polished it is and the more buggy it is, and I feel like I might have jumped the gun a little bit in starting a campaign on there, so I don't know. RimWorld's also pretty tempting to start a game on, but the official 1.0 release is... today's the 15th, so in just a couple of days. So it seems like if I'm going to start a campaign, I should just hold off for that. Really, that is the prevailing attitude I have about so many potential series right now. I don't know if I've ever noticed frogs in this before. I must have seen them. Like, Stellaris. Stellaris, I feel obligated to start another campaign on, and I keep on trying to off stream as well, and then just canceling it and restarting over and over and over. There's a lot of mechanics for the Star Trek New Horizons mod that we never looked at, but are pretty fucking cool, and I'd like to be able to showcase, but I feel like those would be better demonstrated through a more edited format than just a stream or a long series. Basically, I want to look at how... I've gotten a lot of questions about how the Federation's mechanics work, so I don't know if I'm really the best equipped to be doing a tutorial series on it, but maybe something really fast and easy. Especially when it comes to the Xindi crisis and the way that can split off, or the randomization of events, or if certain things work this way or that way, has led to some confusion, which is understandable. Typically, when you play a game and you put in the same input over and over and over, you expect the same output, but when the game does something different, it can be a tad surprising. Personally, I like it. I like the variety and the randomness, but I'm also the sort of person to replay a campaign 3 or 4 different times. Minimally. Okay, upgrade this. Oh god, yeah, I have so much more money than we need. So after this steel Pickaxe. Yep, steel pickaxe is done. We might as well... Ooh, I was about to say we might as well jump into upgrading it to gold, but I don't know if we have the capacity to do that right now. But we'll look at it anyway. I'm fairly sure I don't have 5 gold bars. And I certainly do not have the ability to get 5 gold bars. I know 20 is much more than I need. Just go ahead and buy the last backpack. What? I bought the backpack and it turned bright outside. That's, don't know how that works. That's okay. Holy 4, you know, I'm pretty burnt out. It would take something pretty substantial to bring me back. Even the Old Rose Blues mod, I've played through. I would need that to have about twice as much content. Twice as much new content as it has existing content to be lured back into playing it. Kaiserreich and a lot of the other mods are fun and interesting, but you know, there's already been a whole lot of coverage and a lot of people playing those. I don't feel like I really bring too much to the table, and it feels like beating a dead horse at that point. He says, unironically, while playing a relaxed, aimless playthrough of Stardew Valley, but you know, whatever. Yeah. Playing through Pathfinder Kingmaker, I'm on like chapter 4 in my off-stream playthrough, and the amount of bugs I'm hitting and amount of glitches, quest breaking, game breaking, mechanic breaking glitches and bugs I'm running into, it's just making it very clear to me that I do not by any means want to stream playing that game right now, or record playing more of that game, because after chapter 1, maybe if we take things really slowly, like chapter 1's gonna take probably about a dozen hours, so maybe recording and streaming that would go off without too much of a hitch. But really, after we start getting out of that first chapter or two, the game starts getting increasingly buggy. The way that the kingdom mechanics work, or don't work, are still under some slight revision. Yeah, so I was super excited about it, and for good reason. There's a lot to be excited about, but can't help but feel that I just need to set it aside and focus on something else for a short while. Now, EU4, I'm trying to care about. I really am. I'm trying to get interested and excited in, but it's just not doing it for me. I don't know what I'm longing for. Oh, I guess lightning hit the cobblestone path. That's not super common. I mean, not uncommon, given how much I have down, but that's still surprising. I do have the Fallout series going on, but yeah, the last video in the Fallout series won't make it to YouTube until the 27th of October, something like that. So I got a hot minute, a long hot minute until that's relevant. And while I do appreciate creating a decent, substantial backlog as a crutch for me being able to get sick or spend time doing something else, at the same time I'm feeling ambivalent about it to a certain extent. Yeah. I've even given some consideration to going back and playing some more. Now, I'm going to use the word casual here, and I don't mean any offense by it, but casual games like Smite or League of Legends or FPSs of different varieties. And I don't mean casual as in, oh, it's so dumb or so easy. I mean casual as in, like, a typical game will last 20-30 minutes tops, Whereas with a lot of the other content I'm making and other games that I'm playing, they're long form content, right? They're episodic or campaign focused rather than just one and done. I'm trying to think, have I made any attempt to make any content like that? I don't think that I have. Oh, not really, not substantially anyway. Wait, 8 in the morning here. I'm definitely still waking up a bit. Ooh. I gotta say, I really do appreciate the Stardew Valley series. Just how smooth and easy it is to play. You can definitely approach this game with some critical thinking and planning skills, and to some extent does benefit you to utilize those skill sets. But on the other hand, you can kind of go into a Zen autopilot, which I really appreciate. I was reading yesterday, day before, I was reading about Portugal in the early 1400s. I was reading about the early exploration era in Portugal, and really wishing that EU4 particularly captured that era of exploration in a more dynamic, interesting, immersive way. Because that would be sort of fun to explore right now. Something like that. Also been watching a lot of Star Trek. Surprise, surprise. I'm making my way through the Next Generation again. Man, it really takes until... Like, Season 1 has a few decent episodes in it. Season 2 has a few more. It's until, like, Season 3 that it really starts taking off. I forgot how much just patience and buy-in that show required. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I wish there were a 4X game that had the level of diplomacy, intrigue, and really what I'm looking for is competitiveness in a narrative format. Like, when I'm playing, say, Star Trek New Horizons, the Stellaris mod that I love, I wish that the AI nations felt like AI nations. They felt like, well, not AI nations, I wish they felt like other nations. I want it to feel like I'm, in Babylon 5, for example. Like, these are living, breathing, or at least, self-aware, sentient, self-interested, what's the phrase? Where's our cat? Cat out in the rain? Enlightened self-interest, I think is the phrase. That they have, or oh, it's right here. I'm blind. They have enlightened self-interest, so it feels like they're playing with real politic. But I worry that desire, that expectation, this hunger, I feel, is something that can't very well be met by AI nations, and the only way to satisfy that urge would be to play multiplayer. And I have expressed in the past, I have enjoyed playing multiplayer games. Quite an extent in the past, but for the purposes of recording or streaming, I'm not really interested at all in relying on random drop-ins or consistently scheduling things with people. And it's not just from a nihilistic perspective that I'm just like, I don't want to deal with people. It's because I organize people and I keep people running on schedule and I keep shows running on schedule 4 or 5 days a week for my job. So it doesn't sound fun to me in my downtime to then organize when people are supposed to be meeting up and yada yada yada. It's the same reason I haven't started another tabletop role-playing game on the channel, and I'm tempted to. Actually, something that might be sort of fun. I don't work for the next few days, so I actually get a long weekend. Pending nobody booking our room and us needing me to come in last minute, which tends to happen on a weekly basis, which I'm not complaining about. It's just something I've gotten used to. Lots of unscheduled work. I would really like to take a look at my Stellaris mod. Now 2.2 is still on the horizon, but I can at least get it up to 2.1. I can at least get it up. 2.1 standards and get it ready for 2.2, but I don't know if my heart's in it. What I really would like to do is make a compatibility patch for New Horizons and fuck around with the planets, planetary settings, planetary orbits, and object distances in that mod, as well as giving different stars more impactful modifiers. And if I were happy enough with the submod, I might then submit it for inclusion in the mod itself, or at least some of the features. But in the past, when I've streamed me coding and modding, it hasn't been the most exciting thing. It's been interesting, but it's been a while. I was also thinking today I might get some work done on... I have a work-in-progress tabletop role-playing game, science fiction, D10, D100 based game that I've been off and on working on for a couple of years now, a few years now actually. It's been on life support for a while, or the back burner. I haven't been doing much for it, but I was thinking today that it might not be amiss for me to just hack off certain parts of it that I feel are decently well refined and modular that can be plugged into other systems, and just work on prettying those up to release as standalone content for friends to use or other interested people to use. I don't know if I'd go so far as publishing anything right now, even self-publishing anything, because it's close to ready, but yeah, actually some of it might be ready. Anyway, these are possibilities. Most of the stuff I was thinking about doing and potentially streaming today aren't really related to playing games. There's nothing wrong with that, just a little unusual. Considering that this whole weekend I've been frustrated with how little I've been playing, how much I haven't been streaming nearly as much as I would like to over the last few months, how it's gonna be about a year anniversary coming up here in November at some point. I don't even know the date. And I've streamed about half as much, half or a third as much as I've wanted to since starting last year, and I've definitely been lazier, and there's some things that have happened in my personal life that have forced me to take some time off, and yada 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 yada. But it's just like any other anniversary, like birthday, New Year, holidays, relationship anniversary, I'm finding myself thinking a lot about the content I've been making, the content I want to make, the games I want to play, what kinds of things I'm interested in doing, and I haven't reached any concrete resolutions or decisions, naturally, but I have, yeah, I've been trying to feel that out. Oh, man, Pathfinder Kingmaker I was really excited about for a number of reasons, and I've talked about a few of them, but I was really interested in streaming a game I had not played before, but because I had gotten sick right when right when it was released, I played a lot off stream, which totally defeated the point of the whole blind playthrough experience. But also I wanted to see if the same sort of critique and critical analysis and critical thinking that comes so hand in hand with strategy, grand strategy games, etc., etc., the vast majority of the genres that I play would fit in well to that game and that playstyle. And the short answer is kind of, but the long answer is kind of not. Because Hearts of Iron, EU4, Stellaris, even Crusader Kings, Stardew Valley, just so many games, and this is the mark of a good game, make their data fairly accessible. It's very clear when I do something and I succeed or I fail, and these games do a very good job at teaching me and showing me what success looks like and why something worked or didn't work, or giving me different approaches to try something or retry something. However, Pathfinder Kingmaker, and this is a fault of maybe role-playing games as a whole, but tabletop role-playing games in particular, if you make a bad choice in character creation, and we saw this in my haha, this'll be funny build for Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. If you fuck up a build in the first hour, you're gonna have to suffer through that build for the rest of the game. And it may not get any better than level 1. I have hundreds and hundreds of hours of experience with various editions of Dungeons and Dragons. I even have dozens and dozens of hours of experience with Pathfinder, but still walking into Pathfinder Kingmaker, I forgot so much until I started playing, like, oh right, I built this wrong because of this, and what's worse is sometimes skills, feats, class features just haven't been implemented properly and just don't work. An outstanding thing I believe that's currently bothering people is that maybe this got fixed in 1.08, which came out yesterday, day before, was that dual wielding, 2-weapon fighting, if you had finesse, if you used, not weapon finesse, is it weapon finesse? God damn it, I forget the name of the skill, the ability that allows you to add your dexterity modifier to damage rather than just your strength modifier, which is pretty important and significant for rogues or certain monk builds, good monk builds, and lots of other things. It just didn't work with 2-weapon fighting, which caused some problems. And yeah, the game, it's been rushed. And even if it hadn't been rushed, its ineffective means of communicating the game mechanics, the interrelationship between different game mechanics, it's bad. It's not intuitive. It's really not made to be accessible for people new to the genre, or new to the rule set even, particularly. Not even to the genre. If you're not very intimately familiar with 3.5 or Pathfinder, and even if you're familiar with Pathfinder, even intimately familiar with it, I was watching one of the devs for Pathfinder, not Kingmaker, the creators of Pathfinder played Pathfinder Kingmaker, and they were getting confused by some of the rules, or they were getting kind of confused by some of the stuff going on. And if that's happening, you fucked up. You have really fucked up your game design. And I don't say that from a place of malice, I say that from a place of just honest feedback and critique. And communication is a pretty core element to any form of design or game mastering or communication. Even like effective communication, effective expressing of desires and expectations, teaching someone how to do something, how to acquire something, teaching punishment, reward structures, etc., etc., etc. You know, being queer, sharing a queer language, a clear vocabulary between you and your audience is incredibly important. And the encyclopedia in Kingmaker is an attempt, you know, a noteworthy attempt, a valiant attempt, to establish that vocabulary, to facilitate the dialogue between player and designer, but I don't feel like it works well. I don't feel like it works very well at all, because so many things are assumed, so many things are communicated that just aren't true, so many things are not communicated that desperately need to be, and etc., etc., etc. You could muddle through. On an easier difficulty, you could muddle through the game if you're not concerned with doing every quest, if you're not concerned with getting every item, if you're not concerned with finding everything, or etc., etc., etc. It's not that big of a deal, but I tend to be the sort of player who wants to finish every quest, who wants to leave no stone unturned, and for me, the incomplete nature of so many small, admittedly small facets of the game, up until the late chapters, where the facets of the broken things get to be a bit more notable. Man, I went into the sauna expecting to run into trees on the way home, but we've pretty effectively deforested things. I guess I could run down to the forest and, like, cut down one thing. It's not even worth it. That was a waste of time. Yeah. What playing Pathfinder Kingmaker has made me feel more than anything else is like, wow, this must be such a great adventure to run in the pen and paper. Like, I want to play the tabletop role-playing game. I want to do the tabletop role-playing adventure set. I don't want to be playing this game. I want to be doing the thing it's based off of, which is, you know, great for the Pathfinder devs, or the book publishers and the authors of the original Kingmaker series. Probably not the best response for the audience for the video game, though, is, I think this was probably handled better originally. Why don't I just go do that? Bread! We learned to make bread. Yeah, I feel kind of shitty that has been my response. My emotional response. You know, my actual response is being like, nah, I'm gonna stick with it, and I'm gonna play it, and I'm gonna try to understand what's going on, and leave no stone unturned, and etc., 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 but... Yeah. Yeah. This is almost blasphemous for most people. I've been having a real urge to dig in to D&D 4th edition. I know, by and large, not a very popular addition to the game, because it took a lot of core mechanics and core assumptions about the game and turned them on their head, and perhaps not in a functional or effective manner. There's some stuff I'd like to take a look at that, because I have some fond memories of it, and I'm not entirely sure why. I wanna take some time and take a look at that and try to deconstruct what exactly was fun, or the fun that I'm remembering. Because it felt very unique, and I'm not quite sure what it was. Granted, I don't think I played 4th edition long enough to, and I did play dozens of hours of it, which isn't much in a pen and paper game. I didn't play it enough or read it critically enough to walk away with a very nuanced opinion, but I thought it was an interesting departure. An odd departure, but an interesting one. This is all well and good that I'm just like, oh, I could do this, and I could do that. I'm super fucking wishy-washy today. I do feel inclined to apologize, though it's not the same thing as apologizing. I do feel inclined to apologize for how flighty I've been with, we're gonna start this series, and then I get like 4 or 5 hours into it, I'm like, you know what? Not feeling it. Then I'll get a few hours into another series and be like, nah, not feeling it. Yeah. Oh, I can't because of the Jelly Festival. Well, that's fine. Hell yeah. Well, it's not gold, but it's a hell of a lot better. Let's go to the mines. We need more gold. We need a lot more coal. Could probably go see if we finished any of the kill X many monsters contracts, but I'm like 90% sure we haven't. There's this whole thing I should be engaging with. Fuck the community center. I don't care about it. I don't care about the story of Stardew Valley. I really don't. Like, yeah, fix up the community center. Nah. Make friends with people. I just wanna run a farm and slowly improve the farm. I want a very Factorio kind of playthrough. I just wanna build stuff so I can get better stuff, so I can build stuff so I can get better stuff. And granted that I'm in that mood, that probably lends itself to me taking a look at Terraria again. There has been a revival. Is revival? Does that mean what I think it means? There's been a revivalist trend with Terraria as of the last couple of months, because as I understand it, rather intensive, comprehensive, impressive. I mean, these are all correct words for describing what I'm trying to describe. Mod has come out for it that has piqued many a fancy, though I have not taken the time or energy to really get a good look at it. Yeah, the more I think about it, it would be kind of nice to... And I do this about once every 6 months. I like to sit down and walk through all of my custom rule sets for the games that I have worked on, the games that I am working on, and walk through the logic of things to see if my old logic still holds, to see if I have new insights into ways I could implement things better. That sounds kind of cathartic. Oh, cathartic. Satisfying? Insightful? It sounds relaxing, honestly, is the most accurate word here, but it seems a bit odd to describe that as relaxing. Yeah. It would be nice to kind of force myself to get more of a designer headspace again, because it's been a while since I built or coded or designed anything. I sat down to create a one-off low-level adventure for D&D in the style of an escape room. And it would turn out great if I fucking finished it. I have it outlined, but I just haven't sat down and done it. Design work, it's kind of time-consuming. It's not, like, obscenely time-consuming, but it can be a little time-consuming, and I've just been incredibly flighty, and anytime I've sat down to work on anything, whether it be streaming or, hell, cleaning, it doesn't matter. In my free time, I've just been overwhelmed with the feeling of like, yeah, you're you're doing X right now, but maybe you should be doing Y. And it's made it very hard to get anything meaningfully done. Yeah, I'm messing with you. Come on. There you go. We should easily, unless like an act of God happens on this next floor, we're definitely hitting the 100th floor. Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, it'd be pretty hard for me to fuck that up. Oh yeah! What is our favorite thing? It's been so long. What is this gonna make me think of? Oh yeah, the dual gods that in Hitwana worshipped. Or was a priestess of? Was a priestess of, yeah. Were they... God, I'm trying to remember. And I'm the one that should know this. They were dual gods of fertility, right? One feminine, one masculine? One was a moon goddess, I think? I'm not 100% on this. I may be combining things, and by that I mean I'm probably combining things. I don't have any... I don't really have any angry or embittered rants to go on about what to do or not do at escape rooms. Because we've had very nice groups in the last few days. Small teams, mostly young adults who have played at least a few rooms before. Some have played dozens, some have played like more than 50 or 60. They know their shit, they know how locks work, they know puzzle and logic design. They've been nice, they've thanked me individually, they've thanked individual members of staff, pointed out stuff that they've appreciated that we've done. They've been very appreciative of the nuance of ways that we perform things better or more effectively or more intentionally than other companies. But yeah, you know, they've done a great job at making me very, very happy to run games for them. As a matter of fact, the last game that I ran, one of our games is designed really for groups of 8 players, but it can be solved by 2. It could even be solved by 1 very determined player. But we had a group of 3, and there's a mechanic late in the game that unless you have 4 people or someone willing to run around in circles, it is a bit tricky. And the team had been so easy to run the game for, they've been so nice that at the end of the game I just ran in to be an extra person for them. Like, normally I would be a little bitter about that, but with them it's like, no what, no, you deserve this. You've earned my help. You've been nice, you've been smart, you've been very easy. Really just goes to show, and you know, I can imagine a natural response to this is, you should treat every customer that way. Yeah, you know, and we should make sure that we treat everyone we ever meet as if they're the last person we're gonna meet and they're a unique individual who yada yada yada. But we don't, and it's bullshit, and yeah, we should treat everyone as nicely as humanly possible, but we don't do that. You don't do that, I don't do that, so let's not have pretense about that. Let's not pretend that we do. Because the world would be a very different place if that were anything but superficial pretense. But it is, by and large, superficial pretense. If you're nice to people, they will typically treat you better. If you tip your server, they will typically treat you better. If you are nice and generous to your bartender, they tend to be nice and generous to you. It's a you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours type deal. And it's the way of the world, man. To a certain extent, you know, it's a little vaguely nepotism-y. Though nepotism is altruism, it specifically refers to benefiting the family, but, you know, preferential treatment, etc., etc., etc. deplorable in some way, but social connection is the basis of all human interaction in human society, so it only flows naturally that if you're nice to people, and if they have a emotionally or personally satisfying motive for helping you or assisting you or better facilitating whatever the hell it is you're doing, it'll probably happen for you. Smoother, easier, better, etc. Like, if I have to give a random stranger directions, I'll do it. If my partner asks me for directions, I'm gonna give much better directions. Right? If my parents were in town and needed help or wanted suggestions of stuff to do, they'd get a pretty comprehensive answer from me. If you're just some rando on the street stopping me, and this happens at least once every 2 weeks, asking me what's good in the neighborhood or asking me directions to things, I'm gonna be a little less politely inclined to direct you with this much enthusiasm. So too does it follow suit that if I'm operating an escape room and you are completely average group, I'm gonna treat you like you're a completely average group. I will do nothing to obscure you, I'll help you out, but if you're nice to me, if you make me laugh, if you make me fall off script and actually engage in conversation with me about the rules, about games you played, about things you're curious about, and you actually have a genuine human connection, then I'm much, much more likely to give you much more directed hints, to give you more directed feedback and guidelines, and even hints. Like, before the game, not even during the game, you're much, much likelier to have a better time. And that's not really a revolutionary thing to say, or to suppose, or propose is normal, because that's just the way we is. Human beings tend to be nice to people who are nice to us. Benefit those who benefit us. The natural way of things. And yeah, I'm paid to help you play, but also, like, I'm not paid depending on if you win or not. All I have to do is make sure you play the game. It's on you to pay me emotionally, socially, to reinforce my desire to, help you win, or guide you, or give you advice. When my partner played one of our rooms, I gave her and her group much, much more advice and insight than I had any other group that day. For obvious reasons. Now, I know, the business response is, you should treat every customer like they're the best, yada 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 yada, bullshit. Yeah, I should, but also, nah. Treat everyone as you would like to be treated, sure, it's a nice sentiment, but it's sentiments, first and foremost. I have had groups ask in the past if we would give them more hints if they paid for it. Now, I suppose our official policy is no. Truth be told, we don't have an official policy because that's such an outlandish thing to ask or suppose, but yeah, I have mixed feelings about it. Truth be told, pay to win is something I generally find quite distasteful in competitive games. and I mean actively competitive games, like you're competing against someone in player versus player gameplay, but also competitive in the form of leaderboards, or even competitive in the mentality of bragging rights for performance and things. So from that perspective, I'm pretty averse to the idea of people paying real-world money for hints or help in a escape room or video game or anything like that. Now, for video games, it's become very common practice, but in escape rooms, it's not yet, and God, I hope it doesn't become normal practice, because that would be very uncomfortable. Do I really need iridium to break that? I can't tell what it is. I think it's a meteorite, but I can't tell what kind of meteorite. So what am I doing today? I suppose, well, I'm waiting for that gold to finish so I can take the steel pickaxe and go update it, or upgrade it immediately. How long do you have? 50 minutes? Okay. Which is about 1 minute of real time. I want to go upgrade it to gold so we can just have that ready to go, and I can blaze through the rest of the mines, and all the more farming I do down there for more gold, steel, etc. will be easy. Also, I want to go over there because it's a good luck day, and we have a small number of geodes. Not, you know, an amazing number of geodes, but decent sum. Decent collection, all the same. So, I have a dream. A dream of a very specific video game, and it bugs me to no end that it's not real. So it's a 4X game, right? So I know that this game doesn't exist because the genre of 4X games dating back to a number of years ago wasn't the largest thing in the world. It's a 4X game where it has some vaguely Spore-like mechanics that you choose a civilization, you customize what they look like to a small extent, not a huge extent. You choose in the way of Stellaris, a lot of the mechanics and a lot of the things that Stellaris let you fuck with, but also it has the level of ship customization and depth that games like Sword of the Stars has. The gameplay is mostly from a galaxy map that's looking from the top down, though if you jump into individual systems, you can see individual fleets in, you know, very high resolution. But you can zoom into like Firecraft, and you can zoom out to galaxy view, and the galaxy is actually big maps. Normally it's star clusters that are connected through interlocking gates. And now, a lot of these things, if you're familiar with various 4X games, are probably sounding like, oh, that's sort of like this, or maybe he means this. No, I don't. It was something I dreamt up, and it's essentially just a combination of all my favorite features from 4X space games that I played in the past. Oh, right, when Clint, you motherfucker, he can't do two things at once. I should have broken everything before I went to upgrade the pickaxe. Well, that's okay. It has bugged me for years that this game doesn't exist. I have a visceral memory of like a galaxy map with lots of little different stars indicating where different star systems are, that a lot of settlement and colonization is automated or partially automated, but you can also take direct control if you wanted to. The game runs in real time, not pausable real time, so you are effectively like the head of the empire or civilization that you're playing, but it keeps on going without you. So depending on your policies, depending on your designs, your diplomacy, etc., 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 whole wars can be fought that you are not directly engaged with if your attention is elsewhere. Yeah, and just the level of detail in the game and the dream was pretty obscene. Like, it's been years since I've dreamt about it, but I still hold this very clear image. Like, you can go down to space stations, individual space stations sitting inside of nebulas or gas clouds or outside of wormholes, and you can customize every last tiny little module on them. Not even like generic modules, but like in-depth modules, and like the fucking operator of the space station. And individual pilots even had consequence for the operation of craft or its crew, and the disposition of the crew and the disposition of its captains would affect its performance or actions in combat. You know, their individual morale, if they would hold rank, if they would break rank, if they would try to undertake individual acts of heroism, or if they wouldn't, depending on their culture, depending on the sort of education and regimentalization that you had your or your empire or civilization set up to facilitate, and etc., etc., etc. Like, every obscene, tiny, intricate level of detail that games have even touched on slightly was fully fleshed out. And this dream that I had, and I had it a couple of times back in, like, what, 2014, 2015, maybe 2016 at the latest, has driven me insane ever since, because I want to play that fucking game. I played it in a dream, and it was the best game I've ever played, and it's not real. It's not real, and I can't make it real. The scalability to ship size, to planet size, to star size, to solar system size, to interstellar distances was all accurate and to scale. It was it was so much fun. And it's really cool that my mind could come up with something all on its own like that, so complicated, and run all those different things. And, you know, it didn't even have to be real, obviously, because it was just a hallucination because I was dreaming. But fuck, it's hard to play something like that and realize that you want something that you never knew that you wanted before, and know that you can't have it because it's not real. That's a very shitty feeling. I've had that feeling plenty of times with relation to dreams. Friends that I've lost, relationships that I've lost, places I've been that have changed substantially since I've been there, so I can't actually go back to the place I remember. Things like that are not new for me in dreams. It's not untraveled territory or new territory for me. But man, having a video game you can never play again except for the time you dreamt about it, that sucks. That really sucks. Everything else I can wake up and just be like, well, you know, you did it once, Alex. It happened, but it's over now. Or, you know, just be glad that you have a memory of it. This motherfucking thing, I don't even have a real memory of it. I just have a fugue state dream of this thing that very vaguely exists and is difficult to articulate the nuance and to really accurately, viscerally, visually describe what it looked like. It was a lot like Spore too, in the way that it was a whole galaxy that was just constantly running, and if you zoomed out, there was a million fucking things happening going on at any given time, but it wasn't as, you know, shallow and superficial as Spore was. I don't have an inspiring dream like societal change or social good or reform or anything like that. I mean, I do, but that's not the thing that fucking keeps me up at night. And that's so shitty that it's not the thing that keeps me up at night. The thing that keeps me up at night is a fucking game I dreamt of when I was like... Actually, let's see. I'm 25 right now. No, I'm 26. I can't do math. No, I might have dreamt it up when I was like 20 or 21. It might have been like 2012, 2013 when I first dreamt this up, and yeah, I wasn't 20 or 21 then, but... I mean, it's kind of a lost cause. It's kind of just a waste of energy to fix on it at this point, because I don't have the money nor the acumen to produce such a game. And even if I sat down to do it, the best laid plans of much more talented people than I can only make products that barely scratch this itch. I think I just don't think it's reasonable or feasible or possible in the current day. Okay, but annoying. It was Sword of the Stars, plus Sins of a Solar Empire, plus Galactic Civilizations, plus Freelancer, plus Spore, plus... I guess Masters of Orion, because truthfully I hadn't played the Master of Orion series yet. But it had a lot of the similar mechanics and themes to that mixed in, which, imagine that, it's very titular and informative of the genre. Now, I gotta say, when Stellaris was being planned in its development, the way it was advertised, I was very excited. Very, very excited, because it seemed like, oh shit, this is the game I've literally been dreaming of. Not even metaphorically, but nah, not quite. And that's not something I hold against Paradox, because how dare you not make this dream I've irrationally dreamed of. This thing that can't reasonably be made with modern constraints on scalability and technology and etc, etc. Another dream game, and this one's a lot faster because it's at the end of the day, and this is going to be the end of this recording. There's a Stargate Atlantis episode where they, two of the main characters, Shepard and Rodney, I think, are playing a real-time strategy game in the style of Age of Empires against each other, with obscene amounts of detail and a customizability. Turns out that, yada yada yada, they actually weren't playing a video game, that the video game was like satellites in orbit of this technologically low-class or undeveloped planet. What they were really doing was interfering like gods. I want to play that fucking game. I want that level of detail. I don't want to be a god. Maybe. I don't want to fuck around with people's lives without their consent, but that kind of detail is what I want. Waterstone. Why the hell did I name the cat that? Waterstone, because it's an Eevee. Because it's an Eevee and turns into a Vaporeon, because Vaporeon was my first evolution and it's the best in Pokemon Go. Yeah, that's right. Now I remember. Like, I made a dumb joke. I don't get it anymore. Alright, I'm putting in a cut here. I don't know what I'm transitioning to, but this is Stardew for the day. I don't really want to play another hour of Stardew Valley. I'm feeling pretty fulfilled on it. If you're watching on YouTube, this will probably be up again tomorrow. Not this exact video, but you know what I'm talking about. In the meantime, make sure to comment, share, like, subscribe. Alexandrian Codex on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all the things. Till then, toodaloo, take care. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.